Well, first of all, I got so many emotions going through my head right now. This is a huge win. It's I always said, when we first started this, came into this league and came into Division I and this rivalry game, we've said all along it's not a rival until we win one. And, we've had a close one at the first time, and last year they kind of got us, and then, to come back and first of all, to beat a top 10 team in the country. I just can't be more proud of our guys. And obviously that's you're going to say that after a win, but I think the part of we talked a lot about confidence. We talked a lot about kind of this week about getting our swagger, getting our confidence back. And that's hard to do with the last game that we played and our defense has really been kind of a tough struggle for them. I can't be more, first of all, just Coach Inam, our D coordinator, and his staff, I couldn't be more proud of to take a team that's felt a little wounded and felt a little bit losing their confidence in the game plan that he put together this week and got these guys believing in the system, and they played disciplined defense today. Just absolutely great defense, one of the best defensive performances that I've seen, and some of my hats off to them. And then, just battling adversity today. Balls on the ground. We had still had too many turnovers, but you just always felt like on that sideline there's just nobody lost hope, and so that's what I'm most proud of, is just a team that believed in each other. I had this feeling before the game. I just kind of saw a look in their eye. The way we practiced all week, there's just so many, and there's going to be a bunch of performances that I'm going to forget about right now until later, and I think about. So I'll be careful to name a bunch of names, but there's some of these little things. I think of how big special teams was today in a game like this. Logan getting the field goal that we needed to extend it to a 2. That's a big deal with a heavy football, wet football, and then Patty, our punter. You think about the amazing job he's done all year, but that punt, taking it down it was actually to the 2-inch line. They put it the 1, but they downed that thing at about 2 inches from the goal line, and so hats off to our special teams. But just proud of Nate, our quarterback. A couple, we got the ball on the ground a couple times, and the big sack that he gave up. He just, you think about those can be plays that you lose a lot of momentum, and just his mental toughness to come back and battle and lead this offense. And Jeff really stood up today. Coach I called some great calls. So just like I said, a bunch of good things. So I'll kind of turn it over to questions with that. So proud of them.
Coach, the defense was phenomenal, bouncing back from a tough weekend last weekend. And Coach Inam really threw some curveballs in his game plan. They went to a lot of single high, which has not been a common look that he's shown. And they played so much better on third down. SEMO today converted only 2 third downs, 2 of 13. In weeks past, dating back to the Gardner-Webb game, opponents were, I think, 60-70%.
Yeah.
Was that third down defense specific in sort of what you worked on this week, or was it more about winning first and second down to get them in tougher?
Well, first and second down's key, but I think, you've heard me say this 100 times, you achieve what you emphasize, and that was something that we really did emphasize, both offense and defense. We did a lot of our ones-on-ones a lot this week with a lot of competition, so we could get more looks of speed on the field against each other, and we stressed third down for both offense, defense, because that's a big deal. But I tell you, with all the moving parts and with all the injuries, to take kind of what we've been going through for our defensive guys to kind of put together the best players on the field. Taylor Blaylock just playing at nickel today, playing. He's come back from back surgery, coming in late summer, and it took him a little while to kind of get fully cleared. And his play on special teams, his play as a nickel, you just didn't see open receivers today. They did an amazing job. Nobody got behind us. Like I said, our guys just really trusted the scheme because we had some wrinkles that we haven't done a lot, and that's getting when coaches get players to believe in that. So my hat's off to them big time.
Coach, looking at the offense today, they had a lot of good drives, and even on the ones that didn't score, I think you guys are still able to end up getting us, way back in your own end. So it's coming in obviously off scoring just 10 points into today. Was that kind of a factor outside of all the factors of the rivalry game and last game at home and all
Well, first of all, we talked all week. When you're playing as good a team as you're playing in SEMO, and they're a good defensive team, you got to stress to them all week, like, hey, we're not going to complete every drive. We're going to punt the ball once in a while. That's just the way football goes, and not to get discouraged. Like we talk about staying on the wheel all the time, and I think, especially there toward the end of the game. Even though we don't pick up that first down, we ran enough time off the clock, and then we had the punt down to the goal line. Just staying patient. Not getting discouraged if we don't get a first down or we don't get points. Because in games like this, ball control and running the clock is huge, and they've. This point was the 6th-ranked team in the country, and nothing's going to be easy, and that's why you can't get discouraged. That's why we've been pushing confidence, move on to the next play, and so I think really kind of rode our run game a little bit. We just felt like with the elements and everything, we were going to try to. I think everybody in the stadium knew we were going to run the ball. They knew we were going to run the ball, but we just felt like. We got to get the clock rolling and not take any chances with a wet ball, because those things get pretty slick and heavy.
With the way the clock management was so good and being able to do those things, especially late, but in addition, big plays, Paul's run.
Yeah. He's something else, man. I'm telling you. Yeah.
How does a freshman do that?
Yeah.
He just had the big play when he needed it.
Yeah, and he's doing it on, he's going to have a couple weeks now to heal up. I mean, that kid's playing with not a great wheel. He's his ankle's been pretty banged up and pretty sore, and got it again today. But he's a warrior. I've said that a few times, and we kind of felt like one of these things was going to pop, and that one did. And and we had a few. I thought Nate made some great decisions today with the zone read stuff that where he picked up some yardage and got a touch. Even on the hold down at the end, we didn't probably need to get that hold. That probably would have solidified it, but made good decisions today in the run game. It's fun to kind of end the game with an offense victory formation. That's what you want to do. And with big play with Eric Gant on the interception was huge.
Entering this game, SEMO has given up a 100-yard rush since UT Martin in September.
Yeah.
All came close, but between him and Clarence Cortez, you guys have scored more, ran the ball more than anyone else. How'd you guys been able to break through their defense?
Well, I think at some point, it's I think our guys were pretty hungry, and I say that more about us. I think in rivalry games, there's things that through the years might get said or posted. All these things, I think a lot of our guys have just had they're like an elephant right now. They've had a lot of memories, and it's just kind of fueled that hey, we want to show we belong, and I think. I think we were confident in how we can run the football, and sometimes you might look at how somebody defends you and in their run defense, and maybe try to plan away from that, and maybe not do that. But we felt confident that we could run the ball. We felt like we could. That's been a bit of strength for us. I think a lot of that's just it's a mindset. I got to give our offensive line a lot of credit because. They were playing a lot of a bare front today. It's hard to run against. There's a lot of guys in the gaps, and so some of these little 3 and 4 yard runs, you're running it into the mouth of a bare defense or something that is designed to stop the run, and we're still getting positive yards. So I thought that was a great thing. It was an attitude thing for our offensive line today.
Sure, you haven't been able to process this very much yet, but as you have some time to kind of think of this one, is this kind of one of those that feel like you're going to be able to process and see kind of just, especially since the jump to Division I, just how far the program as a whole, not just from talent, but also just maturity and growth, and just
Yeah.
what it looks like to compete with these kind of teams. Is this one you feel like is going to cause you to do that?
Absolutely. I think we've one of the things I tell our guys a lot, is we've had some tough losses, but winners know why they lose. Losers sometimes don't know why they lose. They're looking for excuses. They're looking for all these things, and this has been a process. We're a better football team than we were last year, and then the next step is you got to win these type of games, and you got to hold on to leads like this, and you can't give those things up. And we've done that a couple of times this year where we just didn't quite finish, and I think this could be a major big step for us to learn. In my past, in past teams or other places where we've had to make transitions, it's those steps of getting a team to have them understand that they can win, they can finish, and so games like this can be some of those building blocks to say, hey, we can go back. We always talk about going back to our trophy room. You know, when things aren't going well, you got to go back to those successes, of success we've had to remind ourselves that we can do this. I think this can be a big stepping stone for us.
Coach, we've been talking about deservedly so your team, but I don't think I've seen anybody this year in these Lindenwood games like Bryce Norman.
No.
That guy's ridiculous.
Great player.
Thoughts about him?
Yeah, he's a great player. You know, we recruited him and really wanted him years ago. It was kind of before we were Division I, and you know, I really respect him as a football player, and you know, I think. Yeah, he's that type of player. I mean, he's just kind of the type of player that you really respect. You know, kind of a throwback type linebacker. He's a great kid, and he's a good football player. And you know, so my hat's off to him because, you know, that's a guy in the run game, you know, is going to be everywhere. Yeah, he's and I think Vinny and him right now in the conference, I think, are back and forth a little bit. I think in you know, in for tackles in our league. So, but yeah, really good football player. Yeah.
One thing you talked about a lot throughout this entire season is complementary football.
Yeah.
And today it seemed like not just the offense and the defense, but also the special teams all complementing each other. Was it kind of a relieving feeling seeing all the pieces truly complement each other?
Yeah, because what we say is, you know, complementary football is like if something bad happens, you pick each other up. And when you hear the language between each other, you know, if we, right, I mean, you know, we have that, you know, turnover that led to a touchdown. You know, the defense just gets off the field. Well, you know, I think sometimes you'll see in games where you can maybe peek over to a sideline and you kind of see, once you see a team maybe starting to kind of get a little frustrated with each other. And we always want to be that team that's like got each other's back, because that can get frustrating. You know, if one side's having a great game and the other one's struggling, you know, that's when a lot of that stuff can happen, and we stress that so much. And when you see players and you hear that in running off the field and on the field and hearing guys say, hey, we got you, man, we believe in you, and that just helps. It helps when you know you got people that got your back, and that's what I'm really proud of. I think that's why the strength of this team and why we battled through a lot of adversity this year. You know, because I tell you what, games like last week are hard to come back from. You get punched, and there's, you know, you can start doubting yourself, and that's why I give so much credit to our coaches to prep this team and get them ready. And you know, and I my hat's off to them. But that's what complimentary ball is all about.